The Arcturian Group, June 4, 2017. By Marilyn Raffaele. Homepage, www.onenessofall.com. It is our loving work to advise and assist everyone awakening into a new and truer state of consciousness. You are doing a fine job of it, in spite of the confusion often resulting from the discovery that many tried and true beliefs were nothing more than concepts accepted as reality. The first step of all change is awareness. Gaia and all her people are experiencing the energies of a massive shift into higher and truer ways of understanding. The blinders are coming off, and this can be traumatic for the unprepared, because everyone has lived hundreds of lifetimes in the dense three-dimensional belief system, embracing it as reality. Opening to and accepting that it was formed from illusory concepts of duality and separation can be very difficult to accept. The early stages of awakening often bring about emotions of guilt and shame. This is because when certain past actions are remembered with new awareness, they are recognized as having been negative and selfish. When and if this happens, lovingly accept that you were acting from your highest sense of right at that time, which is all anyone is required to do, and call to mind that guilt and regret are emotions based in identification with a false sense of self. At the same time, be aware that many of those past experiences now causing shame or regret were actually pre-planned interactions, opportunities important for the spiritual growth of all involved. Be alert to emotions as they arise, not resisting them, but seeing them as perfect signs pointing to lingering false beliefs. What am I believing that is making me feel this way? It is time to begin thinking of, believing in, and accepting yourselves as divine beings, as I am, instead of the personal sense of self, as Mary or Jim. Yes, the world will continue to see you as human and you will continue to go about your human activities, but until you can accept and know yourself as I am, you will forever be on a journey of seeking. Journeys are meant to lead somewhere, not meant to go on indefinitely. Continuing to hold only to the personal sense of self blocks the attaining of higher states of consciousness. Many intellectually accept the idea of oneness, but continue holding tightly to a false sense of self that believes itself to be only human, separate and unworthy of being one with God. Many, especially those steeped in religious doctrine, still consider the idea of oneness to be sacrilegious, the same unenlightened beliefs that resulted the crucifixion of Jesus. Identification of self as self, one with Source and all that Source is the next level of spiritual evolution, and until a student of truth is willing to take the step of accepting that all life is an expression of the one, divine life including themselves, they can go no higher in spiritual awareness, but instead remain on a wheel going nowhere, and perpetually seeking. As you go about your day, use every experience to practice knowing I am. For example, when you look into your wallet and find nothing there, instead of saying to yourself, I have no money which will serve to perfectly create that exact thing, say instead, yes, I see and acknowledge the appearance of lack, but I know that that I am is self-sustained and self-maintained, and therefore I am, the very substance of abundance. Then get the flow going, living out from I have, instead of I don't have, in the realization that you are powerful creators. The flow can take place on all levels, physically giving away those things you no longer use or need and donating money, even a penny. Emotionally taking time to listen to someone who needs an ear, and mentally knowing the truth about another. The key to shifting awareness from I lack to I have, with regard to all things not just money, is to realize that all good flows through you, not from you. Personalizing good caps the divine well within. Do not expect a basket of money to suddenly drop from the sky, but know that you are on your way to shifting into and experiencing the fruitage of your realization of oneness, a consciousness that knows God does not give abundance, rather God is abundance and therefore I am abundance in all its forms, ideas, creativity, wisdom, peace etc. A consciousness that knows the substance of everything needed is already present within self. You are spiritually ready to separate seeking from being, and move into the realization that I am everything I seek. You have done the work and are ready to move beyond. If I can just know enough truth, good will come to me. Think upon these two statements, for there is a subtle but very important difference. It is the ability to live every situation as best you can, even when needing to take some very human footsteps from a place of, in spite of appearances, I stand in the truth that I am the very substance, energy, and reality of completeness and wholeness in all its forms, because the I, that I am, is divine, God, Source manifesting and expressing itself as me. Truth always seems ignorant and naive to the unawakened, but you who are ready, must begin to come out and be separate, living your awareness. This does not mean that suddenly there are no more discords because you have not yet fully attained, but does mean you have begun the process of being in the world, but not of it. As old energies carried through lifetimes are seen through, cleared, and released, and you start to trust and rely more and more on the reality of who and what you are, this will begin to be reflected in the outer scene. Continually translating the seemingly ordinary things of daily living into the truth they represent opens and trains the mind to new ways of interpreting. Left on its own, the human mind simply draws upon what is already present in personal and consensus consciousness. Mind is an avenue of awareness. Most of the experiences of those who live fully in a third-dimensional belief system are expressions of habitual and unenlightened thinking, mind chatter translated into manifestation. You are divine beings. You are one with Source. You are complete and whole, now, not after more years of study, classes, books, and ceremony. Evolution is simply the journey of moving from an unawareness of oneness, into the full awareness and experience of it. This does not mean you can never take a class, read a book, or do specific meditations you may be guided to do, but rather means you do these things with the understanding that they cannot make you spiritual, but may instead awaken you more deeply into the realization that you already are spiritual. Spiritual evolution must a process because the physical body could not withstand the fullness of light energy all at once. There have been instantaneous shifts, but these are rare and occur when an individual has been fully prepared from other lifetimes, or when an already fully evolved spiritual being takes on human form in order to assist the world. Every cell of every organ in the physical body carries cellular memory, associated with that organ or function from other lifetimes. These old energies are based in illusion but nevertheless still resonate and affect an individual until seen through and released, or a state of consciousness is attained in which they simply dissolve into the nothingness that are, freeing the person from their physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual influence. The energies of truth are the reality, but energies of illusion still hold dominant sway for most of the world because unenlightened beliefs are manifesting outwardly as form, and are what the physical eyes can see. Enlightenment comes by grace when a person is evolved enough to understand and embrace truth. You who read these messages are ready, or you would not be reading, or even understanding them. The time is now to move into truth, not simply thinking about it, talking about it, and seeking it, but be it. When an individual continues to seek outwardly after knowing that everything they seek is already within, They hold themselves in old energy that will continue to manifest as duality and separation, often questioning why. Because everyone has free will, choice is always honored. Do you believe in one, and that one manifesting itself as you or not? Avoidance can go on for lifetimes because in many respects it is easier. There is the presence of the consensus consciousness supporting third-dimensional choices. Living truth is difficult in the beginning because it takes constant alertness to shift one's thinking throughout the day, and often there comes a sense of disconnect from those around, leading to feelings of loneliness. Am I the only person who sees things in this way? This sense of disconnect is temporary, because it has no law to hold it in place, and is simply the expression of old energies of separation still resonating. The beginning stages of living truth are more often than not thinking and acting out of habit in the comfortable but illusory ways you are accustomed to, with a great deal of effort toward correcting one's thought processes. With time, persistence, and serious practice, as well as a good sense of humor, living as I, instead of as just Mary, Joe, or Jim, will gradually becomes an attained state of consciousness lived without effort. Only Source, in its infinite completeness, is. It is what you are. Be it. We are the Arcturian group.